Wonderful. This is Sarah, and I was recently asked what I was afraid of. And because I'm on a lot of podcasts and put myself out there and try to create change pretty rapidly in my own life, this person asked what I was afraid of. And they were saying it as if I didn't have any fear. And I said, "Oh, no, there's something I'm absolutely terrified of." And they were like, "Oh, what is it?" Kind of getting the insight into that. And they said, "What are you terrified of?" And I said, "I'm afraid of having the same problems year after year." And I heard someone saying that one time because they said, "Of course you're going to have problems. This is life. But if you have different problems year after year, then you're making change. You're growing. You're taking inventory of what's going on in your life and taking steps to improve it." But let's say you have lunch with your best friend once a year. Only once a year. It can be on September 10th. So every September 10th, you have lunch with your friend. And you say, you know, "I'm having so much trouble in my business." "Oh no, what's going on?" "I'm having so much trouble in my business. I can't stand this person I work for." Then the next year, "Oh, I'm having so much trouble in my business. I can't stand this person I work for." And then the next year, "Oh, I'm just having so much trouble in my business. I can't stand who I work for." Then the next year, right? You see how that's not a life that's growing. That's not a life that's changing. That's not a life that's moving. That's someone who's talking about their problems rather than solving their problems. And I have been this person before. I have been the person who every time I talk to someone or connected with a friend, oh, guess what? It's the same problems over and over and over again. I'm having the same issues. I'm not solving anything. I'm walking in circles. I'm not moving forward. But I started to get really, really afraid of being in Groundhog Day, of living as that version of myself over and over. I got really afraid of always being sad. I got really afraid of not going after my purpose. I got really afraid of putting up with bad behavior from tons of people. I got really afraid of not being able to look myself in the mirror because I had lost touch with my self-integrity. I was terrified of things staying the same, of waking up 5 years, 10 years, 20 years with the exact same set of problems I had already been dealing with for the last 5, 10, 20 years. I didn't want that to be my whole life. And I saw other people and they were changing their lives. And I know for some people the word change is really scary. But I found that interesting. Even the idea of comfort zone, right? So you talk about someone is in their comfort zone, but then they describe their comfort zone. Say it's a problem at work. "Oh, I'm miserable at work. I'm so tired all the time. I never have any help. I'm always fighting with my kids. I'm always fighting with my spouse. I'm always miserable. I'm always just so unhappy." And they call that their comfort zone. Not until you ask them to take a step to change. And I think if I had a magic wand and could change something about humanity, I would teach people to be as afraid of what happens if they keep going down the path they're going as they are of changing paths. And there's that old phrase, "the devil you know is better than the devil you don't." And you can choose that. You can say, "Oh, I've got these problems. I'm going to have them next year. I'm going to have them the next year. The rest of my life is going to be circling around with these same problems." But that probably seems pretty sad. And it certainly was to me. It was really scary to think about not changing, to think about not doing anything, to think about not coming from a different place in my life, to think about not making a difference in my life. You've got to do the hard work of your own life. No one else can jump in and save you. So today, take 30 seconds, a minute, and think about a problem that maybe you've had year after year. That if you're honest with yourself, if you were meeting your friend this time next year, you'd probably sit down and say, guess what? I've got the same problem. And then get real and think, what happens if it doesn't change? What's the almost probable certain future of continuing to go on as I'm going on right now? And get scared about that. Don't get scared about change. There's hope in change. There's not hope in doing the same thing over and over again and hoping to get different results. If you always do what you have always done, then you're going to keep having the life you currently have. Get into the comfort zone, which means creating change so you have a different set of problems, a better set of problems. And there was someone who once said, if you have $1 million, you have money problems, and if you have $1, you have money problems. But if you have $1 million, you have a much better set of money problems. So in this life, there will always be problems, but get a better set of problems rather than having the same problems over and over. Hope that helps.